From strict dress codes to new systems in place to shame rule-breaking passengers, today's video dives into the bans, crackdowns, and changes that you need to know before your next flight. The first ban that you need to know about is that major airlines have finally begun cracking down on going barefoot on a flight. Airlines like American and United are enforcing stricter footwear policies, requiring passengers to keep their shoes on during the flight. American Airlines' contract of carriage explicitly states that passengers must dress appropriately, specifically banning bare feet. United Airlines has similar rules, reserving the right to remove barefoot passengers for being not properly clothed. While this ban might seem like it's all about keeping fellow passengers comfortable, which it kinda is, the primary reason is actually for your own health and safety. Planes only get a quick surface cleaning between flights, leaving carpets and floors full of some pretty gross remnants, from sticky spilled drinks to bodily fluids like urine. Bathroom floors are especially concerning, and walking barefoot on these surfaces puts you at risk of picking up foot fungus or other infections. And that's not the kind of souvenir that anyone wants to bring home from their trip. And if hygiene isn't enough to convince you, think about safety. Bare feet leave you vulnerable to injuries from sharp debris, hot surfaces, or spilled liquids, and they could slow you down in the event of an emergency evacuation. You can technically still wear socks if you want to take your shoes off mid-flight, but I can tell you that any crew, pilot, or flight attendant would not recommend it. Socks don't offer much more protection, and nobody wants to be stepping in their own pee, let alone somebody else's. The bottom line is that you might be denied boarding if you show up barefoot for your flight, and you could be kicked off the plane or face consequences when you land if you decide to go barefoot during the flight. Let us know down in the comments how you feel about airlines cracking down on barefoot passengers. I am personally all for it. Next up, airlines are tightening the rules on emotional support animals. Airlines and the TSA continue to crack down on emotional support animals, tightening the rules to prevent system abuse. Under current TSA guidelines, only service animals trained to assist passengers with disabilities are allowed in the cabin for free. Emotional support animals, which don't meet the same rigorous training standards, are no longer recognized as service animals under federal law. Policies vary by airlines, but major carriers like Delta, American, and United now only allow trained service dogs to fly in the cabin without a charge. Emotional support animals must travel as pets in airline-approved carriers that fit underneath the seat in front of them, and a pet fee is typically required. A recent case of a man bringing his Great Dane on board a flight as an emotional support animal sparked a ton of heated debates. One passenger summed it up perfectly. Emotional support for one person, emotional distress for hundreds. This is ridiculous. Gone are the days of using emotional support animal designations as a loophole to bring oversized or unconventional pets on board. Ollie has been on a post-holiday diet, but there is still no way he is ever fitting his 49-pound body into one of those containers, unfortunately. And honestly, it's not hard to see why the rules are changing. Over the years, untrained animals have caused plenty of mid-flight chaos. Think barking, biting, and a whole lot of unnecessary drama. These new guidelines attempt to strike a much-needed balance between accommodating passengers and keeping the skies safe and comfortable for everyone on board. Sarah Nelson, president of the Association of Flight Attendants, summed it up quite well as, "The days of Noah's Ark in the air are hopefully coming to an end." And if you aren't convinced that these new rules might actually be a good idea, consider the case of Bartholomew, a 4-foot boa constrictor found stashed in a passenger's luggage at Tampa International Airport. TSA agents thankfully spotted this danger noodle during an X-ray scan, and Bartholomew never made it onto the plane. Airlines are also cracking down with a new system being installed at airports that is designed to shame passengers who try to board their flight early. You'll be locked out of boarding and then forced to take a walk of shame to the back of the boarding line. American Airlines is taking aim to once and for all ban passengers from becoming gate lice, which is an unflattering term for passengers who crowd the boarding area before their boarding group is called, hoping to sneak onto the flight early by bending the rules. With the new system, if you try to scan your ticket before your group is called, the software immediately sounds an alarm and lets everyone at the gate know that you've tried to cheat the system. And if that's not enough, the software will not let you pass. American Airlines is rolling out the system at airports across the U.S., and it's likely that other major airlines will follow soon. The goal of banning gate lice is to help eliminate the chaos caused by impatient passengers that crowd the gate area so that they can make the boarding process smoother and faster for everyone. So if you are tempted to hover around the boarding gate or attempt to board the flight before your zone or your boarding group has been called, think twice. The new technology knows, the airline knows, and now everyone else around the boarding gate is going to know too. Speaking of being denied boarding, there's a new rule. Flying domestically in the US with an expired driver's license is officially banned. I'm honestly still shocked that this was allowed for so long. And to take it a step further, as of May 7th, 2025, simply having a valid and not expired driver's license won't be enough, as it needs to be both valid, not expired, and Real ID compliant to fly domestically in the United States. Real ID is an enhanced version of your standard state driver's license intended to help authorities crack down on terrorism and identity fraud. A Real ID compliant license typically features a star in the upper right corner. If your license doesn't have the star, it's likely not compliant and you'll need to make an appointment to update it. To get a Real ID, you can visit your state's DMV with the required documentation such as proof of identity, your social security number, and 2 documents proving your address like a utility bill or a rental agreement. The bottom line is that if you show up at the airport on or after May 7th, 2025 with an expired driver's license or one that isn't Real ID compliant and no other valid form of ID, you likely won't be flying. This applies to all domestic flights, even if you're traveling within your home state. If you don't have a Real ID, the TSA will also continue to accept other forms of identification for domestic travel, like a valid passport, and you can find a full list of TSA-approved IDs for flight on the official TSA website. Next on our list, we have a ban that's all about regulating what the airline can do as opposed to what we can do. Airlines are no longer allowed to negotiate or make you jump through hoops to get compensated for canceled or significantly delayed flights. Thanks to a new rule finalized by the U.S. Department of Transportation, or DOT, in 2024, airlines must now issue automatic refunds for canceled or significantly delayed flights. That means no more tedious forms, long waits, or arguments with customer service representatives in order to get your money back. Under the new regulation, refunds must be processed to your original payment method within 7 days for credit card payments and within 20 days for cash or check payments. Airlines are obligated to refund not just the ticket cost, but also any fees or services that you didn't receive, like a seat upgrade or a checked bag that didn't make it to your destination on time. Airlines can no longer delay or negotiate their way out of paying you what you deserve. It's a big win for travelers who often found themselves in the past fighting for compensation or being offered things like vouchers instead of an actual refund. Airlines are also starting to crack down on 3 key things that are not banned yet, but they're definitely under consideration for tighter regulation and should be on your radar. The first is single-use plastic, with airlines working to reduce environmental impact. For example, Southwest Airlines has swapped out plastic stir sticks for wooden ones and introduced bamboo cups, cutting over 1.5 million pounds of plastic waste annually. The second is nut products, as airlines continue to address concerns about severe allergic reactions on board. While nuts aren't banned, airlines are taking precautions to accommodate passenger health and safety. Delta Airlines allows passengers to request a nut-free zone in their seating area if notified in advance. Some carriers have also stopped serving peanuts entirely and have replaced them with allergy-friendly options like pretzels. And the third is alcohol, where policies might be tightening to address increasingly disruptive passenger behavior. United Airlines allows passengers to purchase up to 2 alcoholic beverages at a time, while Ryanair's CEO has publicly supported the idea of a 2-drink maximum for the entire flight. For now, you can still bring single-use plastics and nuts on board most flights, and alcohol is still available, but these are things that might see some rule changes in the coming years. Remember that bringing your own alcohol to drink on board of a flight is against FFA regulations and could land you in serious trouble. It is not allowed, ever. I'll put a video on the screen now and link to it in the description for you to watch next, with other things that you absolutely must avoid doing the next time you fly, at least if you want to avoid any embarrassing, dangerous, or illegal situations. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join us back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and I will see you in that next video soon. Bye.